as to all the charges that you're facing, the maximum possible penalties are as follows. It's life in Florida State Prison, followed by 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 75 years in Florida State Prison. Do you understand the charges and the maximum possible penalties involved? And in exchange for all of that, the state is offering that I would adjudicate you guilty and sentence you to the bottom of your sentencing guidelines. But if you don't accept it, and one of these trials doesn't go your way, and you end up with life in Florida State Prison, which is a mandatory sentence.
The state just offered YNW Bortlen the deal of a century. This could change Melly's trial completely. A plea deal where he could actually be a free man and have a life. But at what cost? And do they want him to testify against Melly in his trial? At the end of today's hearing, the judge explains the plea deal to Bortlen. Will Bortlen take the plea deal and switch up on Melly?
I set today and tomorrow for all pending motions. Let me put a couple things on the record.
There's Bortlen right there.
Witnesses or testimony each side wants to present. Just save your arguments to the end, and then when we get done with the evidentiary portion today, if we're going to continue on to tomorrow, that's fine. But it's my understanding that there was a global offer extended to Mr. Henry, so I'm going to put that on the record and have a quick conversation with him about it, but I'll do that again.
Can't believe there's a plea deal offer from the state on this.
So, in preparation for the hearings today and tomorrow, I read the following. Number one, the defendant's motion to suppress statements of Cortland Henry that was electronically filed December 5th, 2023. I read the state's unopposed motion for relief from the trial order dated July 8th, 2024. That was electronically filed August 25th, 2025. I read state's memorandum of law in opposition to defendant's motion to suppress statements of Cortland Henry, as well as the attachments contained therein, which are transcripts. I will let each side present whatever evidence, witnesses, or testimony they would like to present with regards to any of these pending motions. I'll just ask you to save your arguments until we're done with all of the evidence. Then I'll give you a ruling as to all of them. I know we're set for tomorrow at 9 o'clock, and I know we're likewise set for trial. In both cases, 9 o'clock next Wednesday, which is September 10th. So that being said, state, whenever you are ready, you may proceed.
Jordan Cox, Miramar Police Department, Rural Patrol. Where was I working? The city of Miramar.
Any sites in particular, any locations in particular?
No, I was on FTO, so I was kind of roaming around the entire city.
Did you have an occasion to be called over to a visit with Miramar General Hospital?
I did. Put over the radio that there was 2 victims that were shot at the hospital. I observed the SUV parked underneath the emergency bay with bullet holes all over it, and there's a black male subject sitting on a bench.
Did you know who that black male subject was?
At the time, no.
Did you later identify or learn who he was?
Yes. Cortland Henry. He's wearing a red jumpsuit.
And what did that conversation consist of?
Upon arrival...
I don't remember this officer testifying in Melly's trial, so this is interesting.
Based off, he looked like he was in distress sitting on the bench. So just trying to figure out what was going on. Trying to extract the victims from the vehicle, get them inside, and apply aid to them. Yeah, so based off the what I observed with the vehicle and the victims, pretty much asked them what had happened, what was going on, where did this occur, how did this occur, just to get basic general information to provide to the detectives that were going to come on scene.
And did he provide you that information?
Yes.
Did he tell you where approximately this incident, where the 2 individuals in the vehicle have been killed?
Yes. I provided to the detectives that are right on scene. And the outside emergency bay, he was either admitted to a room or they took him into a room and spoke to him in there as well.
At any point in time when you were with Mr. Henry, did you ever advise him that he was in custody or under arrest?
No, I didn't.
Because at that point, he was a victim. They didn't really think he was involved in killing the 2 people yet. Bortlen's lawyer, Haddad, I believe is how you pronounce his name. I've never heard him do cross, so this is the first time hearing.
Proceeded to the Miramar Hospital because of dispatch.
Yes, sir.
Dispatch all units. How many police charges ended up being there?
I don't recall. Good amount. I wouldn't say everybody because there's a whole city to patrol. Good approximate.
Yeah.
When I arrived on scene, it was just about 3 or 4 units on scene.
3 or 4. By the time you left, how many?
Probably 10 to 12.
Okay, why do we not have a microphone near them? Like, we know it's possible in this courtroom. They did it in Melly's trial.
I don't recall.
Right. Nobody had extracted the body, correct?
I can't even hear what the fucking lawyer's asking. This shit's so annoying.
Dad, he and his buddies got shot at in Fort Lauderdale. They were leaving a party.
Wait, did he say leaving a party? That's a lie if Bortlen said that. They were leaving the studio.
Correct, on the highway.
Yeah. Okay. Now you said he told you where it was.
It's what Cortland Henry advised to me.
Okay. Did you pass that on to the detectives or to anybody else?
I did.
You dispatched it over your
No. I spoke to the detectives.
I think they're talking about they found no evidence of a drive-by shooting where Bortlen said it happened.
All right, state is the witness excused. All right, so you missed that now. Thank you very much.
All right, homicide detective, probably the first one that was called. I'm not sure if Detective Moretti was called initially.
I believe it's very generic. A couple dead bodies at the hospital being dropped off by a friend. And just so you know, I don't get into great details when they call me out when I'm asleep because most of the time early information is not accurate anyway. So that's all I had is some semblance of what was going on when I hit the hospital. A team player. I wasn't the lead. Detective Moretti was. So whatever he needed.
Oh, they responded together.
Did he ask you at some point to drive someone came to know as Cortland Henry?
Yes.
What did he ask you to do with Cortland Henry?
We were trying to locate the scene of the crime.
Why were you all trying to locate the scene of the crime?
Evidence, video, hard evidence, video, anything we could. So also, we want to make sure it's in our jurisdiction. That's like an important part. But no, we're just trying to determine where the crime occurred.
At the time when you drove with Cortland Henry, was he a suspect in this case?
No, he's a victim.
So when Cortland Henry got into your car, what kind of car were you all driving?
It would have been a detective car. I'm not sure.
Unmarked.
Unmarked, yeah.
I forgot. Bortlen apparently got in the detective's car to take them where the shooting happened.
He directed me to the location, and it seemed like it wasn't very forthcoming. Went back to the station. He was courteous. Wasn't, obviously I don't think he's cooperative in that situation. But no, well, questioning is where's this location? Exactly. Yeah, nothing about potential suspect or the investigative part. We're just trying to determine where it happened, what happened. It's very early on investigation.
So it's just that turn left, turn right, go straight.
Yep, and then this is where it's at. Like, okay.
Was he at any point in time put under arrest with you?
No.
Was he in your custody at that time?
No.
Was he at any point in time not really, he said, I'm done with this?
No, he's a witness. He can leave whenever he wants. Well, at the time, we believe he was a witness, so.
And so at that time, he was just there voluntarily telling you guys and showing you where this crime scene was?
Yes. I don't know the timing of the statement he gave to Bertram Moretti, but if it was after I drove him around, then yeah, he was talking to me.
After?
No, I'm not sure. What was the timeline of his statement?
What constituted a crime?
The 2 dead bodies?
Formulate an opinion of crime that was. So you had,
We were working homicide, yeah.
yeah. You were called out to a homicide.
Yes.
You had a person who was not dead, correct?
Correct.
Who was in the vehicle, correct?
Correct.
You're trying to ascertain what happened.
Yes. And I don't recall specifically, but even if somebody thought they were what the crime scene was based on what he had told them, we're still going to do a drive-by in person with him.
So you wanted to go back and look at the scene for the scene?
Exactly. Try to find the exact location of the scene. I believe it was mutually discussed that he's going to show us the location of the crime.
This guy knows where the shooting happened. Take him and look for it, correct?
Sounds about right, yeah.
And who was you with, Moretti and Bertram?
Not sure.
Where was he when you first encountered him?
I met him at the hospital.
What conversation did you have with him?
I don't. I'd have to listen to the recording. Actually, I'm not even sure if it was recorded or not.
Okay, you were a homicide detective, right? You were called out to a homicide, but you passed on to somebody else. You got an eyewitness to a homicide, and you don't recall whether you asked him any questions or not?
I'm sure I did talk to him. I just don't recall. If there was a recording of it, it'd be easier for me to reflect on that, but I can't tell you exactly what we talked about, other than we're trying to determine the location of the crime.
Try to determine what happened. You have for his version of what may have happened to cause the murder.
I don't know if I asked him directly, but I'm sure somebody had asked him, and it may have been relayed to me.
Uh-oh, no notes. Sounds like the YSL trial all over again. I'm not sure which motion they're going over right now. It's clearly for the judge to hear this evidence or hear the timeline of events to decide on something.
No, not as far as a suspect. Obviously, he's involved. He's there with the decedents, so we knew he was involved. But no, I think he was just being uncooperative. It's very common in my career that people aren't cooperative only because they don't want to get involved. So that's kind of the gist that I got from him.
And you were trying to get him involved, of course, by asking him what happened, where it was, right? That's what the detective was, correct?
Yeah, I'm trying to determine the location of the crime scene. Yeah.
Right.
I would have brought him back to somebody. I'm not sure who I saw
Well,
one.
where you felt the scene might be in the back.
Yes.
You didn't take him home.
No.
You didn't tell him you're free to go, call somebody, we'll let you go now.
Not that I recall. He used the word cooperating kind of in the gray area, but he was being courteous. He was somewhat cooperating, so he was free to leave at any time.
So I think what this motion has to deal with what he told the detectives in the first interaction at the hospital and driving in the car. Laurie's probably trying to suppress his statements, if I were to guess.
You're investigating a person who drove him to the hospital. You have a person who drove to the hospital. He's free to walk away. You're not going to continue to investigate him? That's what you told me?
Wait, yeah, I want to try to complete an investigation, but he's free to walk away. He's not a suspect. He's not detained.
Find out what happened.
Of course we do, but we get lied to very frequently, so
Don't keep people there to finish investigating.
no, I wish we did, but no.
If at any point in time you had engaged in questioning with him or anything beyond just driving into the crime scene, you would have noted that in your role, correct?
Yes,
And that was not your role, it's to question anybody, correct?
it was not. No, actually, I don't know for sure if it was or not.
Okay.
He is your honor.
Thank you, Judge.
His lawyer's grilling these guys about certain details, but it's hard to hear him. Love the audio. Oh, God. Moretti is on the stand. The way Moretti has handled this case has been butt cheeks, to say the least. So if you don't remember, go watch my Melly trial playlist and rewatch the entire trial.
I'm employed with the Office of National Drug Control Policy through one of their initiatives called HIDA. It's a federal agency.
Moretti has a new job. Interesting. Not with Broward anymore. Wonder why.
I was called to respond to a Memorial Miramar Hospital reference, a double homicide. 2 individuals were inside of a vehicle that were apparently victims of a gunshot. I believe when I got on scene, I made contact with the supervisor, then later got in contact with Detective Bortlen because it was his week to be on call, so he was technically the lead. He called me out because he was soon to retire in less than a year, and he did not want to pick up another case. And so I agreed to come out and help him. Entrance to the emergency room, it was a gray Jeep. The gray Jeep was still there. There was 2 victims. Both died of multiple gunshot wounds. And then they were later transferred to inside the ER. I believe that's where they were officially pronounced deceased, was inside the ER. The vehicle was still there. It was secured, so no one can go in or out of it. Nothing could be touched like any other crime scene, because that's all we had at that point. That was technically our crime scene, even though we didn't know where this incident had occurred. We just knew that this vehicle came to ER with 2 dead bodies. It was Cortland Henry. Red jumpsuit sitting next to Mr. Haddad. He was in a treatment room. He was laying in a bed, wasn't handcuffed, wasn't under arrest. He, as far as we knew, he was technically a victim and the only surviving witness of a double homicide. It was recorded. I think I just gave my first name or said detective. I would have to listen to the recording. But, the best of my recollection at this time, I don't think there was anyone guarding the room. I mean, there was a lot of police presence there that day. There was probably half the west side was over there. So he was just as witness. We didn't have anything we couldn't detain him. We couldn't compel him to talk. If he didn't want to talk to us, we couldn't compel him. He was just a witness at that point, a victim.
The way he just looked at his lawyer saying, this man lying.
It was I would say, a cordial conversation. He was upset. His friends were just murdered in front of him. But there was no hostilities, no arguing back and forth, no profanities or anything like that. Technically, he was a victim. He was shot at. But the biggest issue we did not know where this crime occurred. When it initially started off, we didn't even think that this even occurred in our city. We didn't have a crime scene. What we were being told where this occurred, we received no phone calls of shots being fired. There was no spent casings, no glass on the road. There was no indication that any crime occurred anywhere in Miramar that day.
That's a big question I kept asking in the Melly trial. If it wasn't Melly that shot them, then who was it? Where did this drive-by shooting happen? Because apparently there's no evidence of one.
Even in his statement, he says, I'm not from here, I'm not familiar with there. So we gave him the benefit of the doubt, like, okay, people get lost all the time. They might think they're on Miramar Parkway, but actually on Pembroke Road or Pines Boulevard. It's understandable. So he said, you know what, just ride with Detective Toyota and show him where it happened. I don't know his exact words, but he didn't object. He wasn't in handcuffs. And it was an unmarked police unit, not a cage in the back of that car. So
damn, he could have said no and not went.
If he had said, no, I don't want to do that, what would you have done?
There's nothing we could have done.
Throughout your statement with Mr. Henry, did he ever say, I don't want to speak to you?
He never invoked his Fifth Amendment rights.
Even outside of invoking his rights, did he ever do any indication that he's not want to speak to you? Did he say, I don't want to do this right now? Did he say, I'm not comfortable? Did he say, you can do this later?
No, every question we asked, he answered. Might not have been the most truthful, but he answered every question. When he was arrested in Houston, we did fly down to Houston to try to speak with him there, but he wouldn't speak with us then. He definitely invoked his right there.
Now, let me see. You said when you got there, you already had a crime scene, correct? In the hospital?
The car was secured.
That means the evidence tape line and all that stuff?
I'd have to refer to the crime scene photos, but I believe they did put crime scene tape up around the vehicle. I'd have to look at the photos.
Lawyer starting off asking if the car was secured or not.
He was in a room with a hospital bed. The heart rate monitor was on him. Basically, looked like he was receiving treatment. That's hospital's protocol. You would ask him why. He was just a victim of a shooting. I guess they wanted to check him out.
Was he shot?
He was shot at?
But there was no physical injury to him there, correct?
No, sir.
Did anybody report the physical injury?
No, sir.
He was in a hospital.
Yes, sir.
Was he handcuffed?
No, sir.
I can find the transcript.
I would like to see the full transcripts on that because I don't remember specifically saying that we had enough to arrest him at that time.
Yeah, okay.
At the hospital, because we didn't even know if this crime even occurred in the hospital. So for you to come in here and say that, it sounds like you're trying to put words in my mouth again.
Okay, you give me,
Moretti's pissed about him putting words in his mouth.
you give me false information according to you.
He is giving me false information. It is. It's a misdemeanor.
You've got two dead people and he's giving you false information. You've confronted with the fact that he's giving you false information, correct?
Sir, I do not want to arrest on a homicide for a misdemeanor charge, and then we got the speedy trial
You
issues.
want to arrest for a misdemeanor. Okay. You want to arrest for something more important, correct?
Correct.
Yes. And you're telling him he's lying to you, correct?
Correct. I could not answer that question because I don't know who was where, was walking
There a
around.
dozen?
You have to look at the crime scene log, sir.
Portland is pissed, bro.
You'd have to refer to the statement.
No, I'm asking you. You tell me how you asked.
Would you mind showing Detective Toyota where it occurred?
You already know he lied about where it occurred.
Like I said in the direct examination, I said that sometimes people get confused, Miramar Parkway, Pembroke Road. So,
You said that to him?
no, sir.
That was in your mind. Maybe he was confused.
Correct.
Did he free to leave?
Well, if you look into our statement, we even told him, listen, we don't care about the drugs. We don't care about any other crimes. We only care about the dead bodies. I am not concerned about a misdemeanor lying to me.
But that's part of the homicide investigation where it happened, correct?
The people,
Why is the lawyer nitpicking about him not charging him with lying to police right now? Any detective would do what they did. They were more interested in the dead bodies than everything else.
Your investigation.
sir, every single homicide investigation we had, people lie to us. It is a part of our job day in and day out. People lie to us, and we understand
You
it.
let him all go, correct?
No, sir.
Okay.
But people lie, we understand it, we accept it, and people lie to us for different reasons. We didn't know he lied to us because he was involved in this homicide. We just figured he lied because they were doing something and they didn't want to tell the police about it. That was kind of our understanding.
Oh, like maybe it was like a drug deal going wrong or something.
We were not thinking that he was involved in this crime whatsoever. I mean, like I said, it was not a confrontational encounter. I don't know if I have the full statement here. Can I see your version? It was actually from Bortlen, and it says Hector offered him a ride home.
And is that something that in your practice you all would oftentimes do when people are not in custody?
We've never given a criminal ride home. If I was concerned that they were a suspect of a homicide, I am by no means going to get into a car with them and drive them somewhere for my safety alone. Well, we were just trying to figure the case out. He wasn't telling us the truth.
case was you accused him of something and he took gunshot residue. What other criminal investigation did you have?
We do that all the time. No, DNA would not have been possible, but we do that in almost all cases, just to rule him out.
Rule him out as a suspect. Because he was a suspect at that time.
No, he was not a suspect at that time. We had no idea, no indication whatsoever. And even then, when we did the GSR, which there's two different types of GSR tests, the first one is just a presumptive test, and it's done after the initial test. And that just tells us if he handled the gun. That first test came back negative, which even corroborated in our mind a little bit more that he was not involved in any of this.
I didn't know the first test came back negative. There's so many details I forgot about this case.
You were doing investigative stuff, right?
Yes.
That's part of your protocol to take GSR?
Well, we've done it many times with witnesses and stuff on case victims, and that's nothing unusual.
What's that use?
Then we don't take it. We ask. The crime scene technician asked.
And you think he's free to leave?
I can't testify to what he was thinking, sir.
What were the conditions of what a normal person would think, surrounded by police?
So whatever motion this is has to deal with him being a suspect at that time and not free to leave. Here we go. Now the plea deal talk, I think, is right here.
Okay. All right, so Mr. Henry, listen, I'm going to put you under oath and ask you some questions, okay? It's only going to be as it relates to the state's offer, and it's only as to make sure that you understand the state's offer and you understand the charges that you're facing here. We're not going to talk about anything else, so just listen to my questions and answer the questions, okay? Raise your right hand. You swear to tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth. Okay, you can put your hand down. Please state your full name. How old are you? How far did you go in school? Do you read and understand the English language? Are you presently under the influence of any drugs, medication, or alcohol? Have you ever been treated for a mental illness? Are they giving you any medication in the jail right now? All right. How are you feeling this morning? Your head is clear? You understand what's going on?
The head is clear question always geeks me.
Counts 1 and 2 is murder in the first degree with a firearm. Those are capital felonies, which means it's a mandatory life sentence. If the jury convicts you of count 1 or count 2 as charged, that's life in Florida State Prison. I have no discretion. Count 3 and count 4 are accessory after the fact to murder in the first degree. Those are each first degree felonies. The maximum penalty for each of those is 30 years in Florida State Prison. Okay. In your other case, which is case number 23-10643 CFNA, you're charged as follows. Count 1 is tampering with a witness in a capital felony. That is punishable by life in Florida State Prison. All right. As the maximum penalty. Count 2 is directing the activities of a criminal gang. That's a first degree felony punishable by life. So the maximum penalty there is also life in Florida State Prison.
Fucking crazy, dude. So many life sentences.
5 is conspiracy to commit tampering. And again, as it's charged, that is also a life felony. The maximum penalty is life in Florida State Prison. And lastly, count 7 is unlawful use of a two-way communication device. As that's charged, the second degree felony. The maximum penalty is 15 years in Florida State Prison. So right now, as to all the charges that you're facing, the maximum possible penalties are as follows. It's life in Florida State Prison, followed by 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 75 years in Florida State Prison. Do you understand the charges and the maximum possible penalties involved? Okay. So, Mr. Henry, the state is telling me that they're extending an offer to you, and the offer is as follows. In case number 19-1871 CF10A, they're going to null process or drop counts 1 and 2, both first-degree murder charges. Okay. And in exchange for that, as to counts 3 and 4, in that case, the accessory after the fact to murder in the first degree, you're going to plead no contest to both of those. And as to the 4 counts in case number 23-10643 CF10A, you're going to plead no contest to all 4 of those counts. And in exchange for all of that, the state is offering that I would adjudicate you guilty and sentence you to the bottom of your sentencing guidelines, which is 195.45 months, about 16, it's a shade over 16 years and 3 months, 16 years and 3 months. All of those sentences will run concurrently, that is at the same time with each other.
16 years. Let's see if they do credit time served, because he probably has like 5 years of that.
You credit for all the time that you have served, understanding that you have a lot less credit time on the 23 case because it's a newer case. So that is what would be controlling. Whatever credit time you have on the 23 case, you can subtract that from the 100 and less time in custody. That's what would happen. And you get the credit for all the time that you served. And again, that sentence would be 16 years, a shade over 16 years, 3 months in Florida State Prison. I would have to order restitution. The state would tell me the amount of that restitution. That restitution would be joint and several with any of the other co-defendants if any of the other co-defendants were convicted at trial or entered pleas. In other words, the restitution only has to be paid once, but each person is responsible for 100%. All right, but as soon as it's paid, it's paid. I would have to impose mandatory court costs in each case, and I would have to impose a mandatory cost of prosecution in each case, which is $100. So
$100. Comment down below right now. Do you think he's going to switch on Melly? They didn't say anything about testifying, but the state has to do that, right? There's no way they go from 5 life sentences to 16 years and not want him to testify.
Mr. Henry, do you understand the offer that the state is making to you? Okay, the 16 years, 3 months, and a shade more. So I'm going to pause on it at this point, Mr. Henry. It's going to give you some time, whether that be tonight or also over the weekend, to talk to your lawyers about it, make sure they answer all your questions, talk to your family about it so you can make a decision as to what you want to do. Now, let me explain this to you, sir. I can't make the state make you an offer, and I can't make you accept any offer. I'm just the referee, okay? This is a business decision between you, your lawyers, and the state. And if you want to accept it and resolve both cases that way, that's fine with me. And if you want to have a trial in both cases, that's fine with me, too. It doesn't matter to me in any way, shape, or form. But whether it be tomorrow, when I see you tomorrow, and then Ms. Wilcox, she already has tomorrow at 9 o'clock, that'll remain on. But I'll put them on both cases as well. next Tuesday, which is September the 9th. Let's just call it 1:30 in the afternoon. September the 9th at 1:30 in the afternoon. We'll call it trial status in both cases. That's when we're gonna have to finish this conversation, Mr. Henry, and you're gonna have to tell me that either that you understand the offer that the state's making, that your lawyers have answered your questions about it, and then you're gonna have to tell me what your decision is, whether you want to accept the offer or whether you want to reject the offer. Mr. Henry, the one additional thing that I like to talk to people who are sitting in this situation that you're sitting in right now and have this conversation is as follows. The reason that I'm doing this is because I want the record to be clear what the state's offer was, and the record to be clear that you understood it, and that you had enough time to talk to your lawyers about it, you had enough time to talk to your family about it, you weren't under any pressure to make a decision, whatever you thought was in your best interest. Because it goes kind of like this, and I'm sure your lawyers can speak to it better than I can. If you accept the state's offer, that's fine. And again, if you don't accept it, that's fine too. But if you don't accept it, and one of these trials doesn't go your way, and you end up with life in Florida State Prison, which is a mandatory sentence on a lot of these counts, usually people in that situation, then they'll file what's called a motion for post-conviction relief, and they'll say, hey, Judge, my lawyer never told me, I didn't know that I could resolve all this for 16 years and 3 months, and if they would have told me that, I would have done it. And now I'm sitting here with a life sentence. So that's the reason I'm having this conversation now, so the record's going to be crystal clear on that issue. If it doesn't go your way, that argument's not going to be available to you to come back and say, hey, my lawyers didn't tell me about this, or I didn't know about this, so that's why I'm talking to you about it now. So, Mr. Henry, do you have any questions for me about the maximum possible penalties involved and what the state's offer is to you as we're talking about it right now? Okay.
Based on body language, I can't tell. I would guess he's going to stay solid and not snitch, but who knows, bro? This is a lifeline for him. 16 years, bro? He'd be a free man at like 40 years old or something. He could still live a life. What would you do? Hit subscribe. Love you guys. Peace out.